All right, folks, welcome to the Make It Happen Outdoors YouTube channel. Tonight we've got something simple, 10 things that are going to make your life easier when you're out there hunting this fall, mostly in the West. 10 things are leftovers. We'll get in more into that. Layers, extra power sources, saving your maps offline, dress for 20 minutes out, bring an extra pair of socks, naps, wilderness naps. We'll talk more about that. Packing your stuff the night before to be ready for the next day, something we call BRT. Stay tuned, we'll tell you more about that. Small thermoses. All right, folks, welcome to this week's edition of the Make It Happen Outdoors YouTube channel. This week, I'd like to go over the little things that make a big difference when you're out there hunting all day. Now, this isn't the stuff I'm going to talk about here. It definitely works for multi-day stuff, but it's really great for the one day. You're leaving camp in the morning, coming back in the evening. It's these little things that you're going to need while you're out there that make a big difference while you're out there. But before I get into that, I want to talk about our podcast first, the Make It Happen Outdoors podcast. We published today, which happens to be Valentine's Day, but it's a great podcast. I'm not going to go into it now. Just go listen to it. You can find it on anywhere you get your podcasts. You'll find it there. Secondly, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys watching. We really like it. Please like and subscribe, tell your friends, whatever it takes. We'll keep doing this. Leave some comments for us. We'd be glad to entertain any ideas you have and help some folks out. We got some other big news coming in that respect. But before I get too far down a rabbit trail, let's go over some of the little things that we at the Make It Happen Outdoors guys do. And that is one is bring your leftovers with you when you go out hunting. It's amazing, that leftover piece of steak or leftover piece of chicken that next day out on the mountain tastes really, really good, and you don't have to worry about cooking something. It's ready to go. It's easy. It's actually really healthy. It's not a bar. It's not a candy bar. It's a really good idea. One of our guys, Brandon, started doing that, and it's amazing. That and maybe a little bag of vegetables. It's amazing what that'll do for your energy levels and for your mental state. Secondly, dress in layers. If you're coming out west, the humidity levels are usually pretty low, and you're gonna need layers. Base layer, mid layer, and then top layer, and then maybe even one more extra layer. I know that sounds like a lot, but you'd be amazed at how cold it can get, or once you get sweaty, how quick you can cool down. But if you have your layers, it makes all the difference. But saying that leads me into another thing. Don't wear your topless layer. You're going to get out of your tent or wherever you're staying. You're going to get out in the morning. It's going to feel really cold. And your first inclination is going to be to throw on more layers because I'm freezing. I don't know what to do. No. Dress for 20 minutes out. Just like going for a run when it's cold. Dress for 20 minutes out. You're going to get walking pretty soon. You're going to warm up. And if you keep all those layers on, they're going to be nothing but cold, wet, and sweaty, and you're going to be miserable all day long. Dress for 20 minutes out. So that means, only put a couple layers on, get moving, let your body warm itself up. And then once you get up there and you still be a little bit sweaty, you can go ahead and throw on that top layer. I like to use something like this, squishy puffy. They're really packable. They pack down to nothing. They don't weigh anything. Man, you throw that on the top after you get up there and get sat down if you get chilled, and that does amazing things. That clothing-wise, layers. An extra power source for your phone. and your other electronics. You can get them anywhere now. Amazon's got gajillions of them. There's some really good makers out there. Make waterproof ones, really durable ones, whatever. An extra power source. Doesn't got to be crazy, busy, expensive, anything else. But I don't know how many people they get out there. They're in and out of service, and it just drains their phone. Have that extra power source, and remember, put your phone on airplane mode. Also, that helps a ton. Having that extra power source it could save you a day. It could also be a lifesaver if you ever get in a safety situation. If you're using map software, make sure you download your maps offline before you go. There's not always service everywhere. I know places we go, even not like out in Nevada, where you might have service when you're at the higher elevations, but not at the lower elevations. And if you don't have those maps saved offline, you're going to be in and out, and you're not going to know everything you need to know. So just a little trick that'll save you some frustration. That's more of a mental thing than anything, is to have those maps saved offline before you go. I usually do it the few days before I go, leave the trip when I'm at the house and I've got really good service. I'll save those maps, and I'll usually name them something that I'll remember, so I don't have to worry about trying to hunt and peck in my phone when I need to get there. But yeah, save your maps offline. Bring your extra camera batteries too.
If you film stuff.
If you film stuff, because we all know that that cell phone footage is good, but it's nothing like having a real camera. And when you want to use your camera, you want to make sure the batteries are good. I know that happens a lot. Bring an extra pair of socks. A couple things about your feet. You can bring an extra pair of socks in case your feet get wet, or also when they get sweaty, it's nice to put a pair of socks on. But hey, some real simple trick. If you've hunted all morning, it's starting to get warm out. You're going to take your rest. Take your shoes off. Let those feet air out. Take your shoes and socks off. Let them air out. It's amazing. It will literally make you feel like a new person once your feet get cooled off and your socks get dried out. Which leads us into my next thing, wilderness nap. Once you get comfortable, you're doing all that, man, there is nothing like a wilderness nap. Probably need it. Out west here, if you're archery hunting, the days are long, and you're hunting from probably, you're up by 4:30. You're not going to bed till 10:30, 11 at night. That makes the bedtime, sleep time really short. So there's some hours in the middle of the day when it's nice to catch up, catch some sleep. The only thing bad about a wilderness nap, insects. They drive you insane. A lot of times it hasn't been cold enough yet, and the flies will drive you literally batty. Brandon came up with a great thing. He's got a netting, a face netting that he uses not only as his breakup, as camouflage, but it works amazingly well to keep the flies off his face and out of his ears and out of his nose and everything else. They've got things like this that work pretty well too. You can put them up, kind of put it up over your ears and over your face to keep the flies from walking on you, because that will drive you crazy when you're trying to fall asleep and the flies are walking on you. Other simple little thing, and I know this sounds stupid, pack your stuff the night before. Your water, your snacks, the leftovers we talked about, you might want to wait, just throw those in first thing in the morning. But pack the majority of your stuff for your day pack the night before. In the mornings, you don't want to be worrying about your pack. You don't want to be worried about what's going in it. You don't want to be all that. Have it ready to go. Have it sitting by the door, whatever, depending on where you're at. Have it ready to go, because that's just one less worry. That way you're not going to forget something. Which leads us into one other thing, and I have to say I've been guilty of this. We have a saying here at the Make It Happen Outdoors crew, BRT, bow, release, tag. You wouldn't believe I've walked off without my bow before. We've been known to walk off without our releases before. It's always nice, you don't want to get up on the mountain, get something down and realize you don't have your tag. So if you have your bow release, your tag, and your knife, you can still go hunting. You might not be as comfortable, but you can still hunt. So, but the big thing, bow release, tag, don't forget those, you guys. And, you can start going off and down a bunch of rabbit trails about arrows and all that kind of crap. But if you remember your bow release and your tag, you're more than likely you're going to have arrows with your bow, and you're going to be good to go. BRT. Remember that. BRT. Tell yourself that every morning as you're getting ready to leave camp. BRT. Then there's one other thing that we've just started doing this year. Because we do mostly day hunts, and we don't do a lot of backpacking type hunts. So we don't carry stoves with us. We don't carry, jet boils, MSRs, all that stuff to make coffee or ramen or something. Everything's just got to be ready to go for us. But some hunts this year where it's getting a little bit colder, and I guess it could be hot too because you put cold drinks in it. We started packing a little thermos, little 16, 20 ounce thermos, whatever this is. Doesn't weigh a whole lot. It itself doesn't weigh a lot, but even the liquid in it when you fill it up won't weigh a whole lot either. And you could put cold drinks in this. You could put your energy drinks, your electrolyte drinks, just to keep them cold if you wanted, because you could put some little ice in here and stay cold. But I like to put coffee in mine. There's nothing like when you've been hunting all morning and you sit down and have a little bunch to eat and have a nice little bit of cup of hot coffee is really amazing. So that's just 10 or so things that we do. I know I went through them pretty quick. We'll go over them again if you want. We can go over a bunch more stuff. There's all kinds of more things we do. We can get more into depth, and I'm sure we will. Then more into a gear dump type stuff where we, what really, if you get an elk down, this is what you're going to need, stuff like that. But this is just the little things to help you stay more comfortable. Anything that'll keep you out there longer is going to keep you up your odds of getting an animal. That being said, remember to like and subscribe. Listen to the podcast, and be ready for more. There's going to be a lot more of these coming your way. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.